Hey.
Good looking. Hey, folks, my special is out right now on Punch Up Live. You can watch it for 36 hours. You can get it early on Punch Up Live. Check it out there. But YouTube, it premieres at 8:30 p.m. Friday night. We'll be live in the chat room. You can fucking hang out. We'll all be there. It'll be fun. Watch it on fucking 9. Whatever you call those
What's
things.
it called?
It's called Small Ball.
Why is that? Why did
Live from the Rosemont Zanies.
What's
Zanies.
What's that name for? What is
small ball, you know, I like small ball, old school baseball. You draw a walk, you steal second. There's a lot of things with hooks and cranes and jibs and smoke and people making big points. This is just a small stage, a small boy just doing it old school, you know?
Friday.
Joe List's newest special, Small Ball, just came out. And although I've recently reviewed his special Enough for Everybody, I'm going to jump right in to Small Ball. But before I do, I want to thank my subscribers and the people commenting and reposting my videos on X. Comedy Mothership, Riley for World, Comic Patriot, I love you all, you rule, now let's do this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe List.
Wow. Thank you very much. Wow, that is very touching. All right, thank you. YouTube is never going to believe this. They're going to be like, nah, fake, bullshit.
But not me, Mr. List. Not this time. See, if you follow me on X, you'll see that despite going into watching Joe's previous special with the expectations of hating it, he scored surprisingly high on the Eeks scale. Joe's fans rightfully love the guy, and I don't doubt for a second that the applause we're hearing is straight from the horse's mouth. Comparatively, other specials tend to pipe in other laugh tracks.
I'm dumb. This is how dumb I am. The other day, I live in New York. I have a telephone, and I was looking at it, and a bird shit on my phone, like a big ploppy bird shit. That doesn't make me dumb, but what does make me dumb is I was like, oh, that sucks, but that's kind of funny. And then I tried to screenshot the bird shit. I took a screenshot. I thought there was going to be a photo of bird shit on my phone, and I was like, wait. And it took me a full, 4 seconds, I would say, to be like, wait, what? That's not... It's embarrassing.
Right out of the gate, a pretty funny premise. And he's not stretching or making hacky airplane jokes like other comedians seem to think is still okay. Looking at you, Adam Ray. Anyway, Joe keeps playing this premise out and asks if anyone has ever tried to use their fingers to zoom when they're not using a phone. It's basically the same joke, but he doglegs into saying he did it to his wife's V recently, trying to find her pee hole. I won't lie, it feels a little early for gross out stuff, but this is currently a very popular topic among the Legion of Skanks, the rags sort of scene. So I'm not surprised that it came up. Let's just skip this
pee hole. There's the asshole also. I don't want to leave that out, but anyways, I'm dumb and I want to be smart. I look smart. I got a cool jacket and glasses, but I'm a big idiot. I try to watch film and have but I never get it the way I'm supposed to. You ever watch a movie with a friend and then after the movie's over, your friend is like, you know what that movie was about? And then you're like, yeah, sharks. And your friend is like, no, communism. And you're like, fuck, seriously?
He's playing up the self-deprecation angle, but that's very Joe's style. I think he's just getting warmed up.
And your friend is like, no, communism. And you're like, fuck, seriously? There was so many sharks in it, though. And then your friend goes, it was an allegory. And then you gotta go to the bathroom and look up what allegory means. Have you guys ever had this experience? You're like, what the fuck? You gotta come back and play it off. You're like, it was a film with a secret hidden message, usually political or moral. Those were communist sharks, now that I think a little more. Fidel Sharkstro, right? Huh? And they're like, what? No. And I'm like, all right.
Fidel Sharkstro. I like dumb wordplay, so I'm not deducting any points. But it feels a little cartoonish, especially because Joe List, despite his shortcomings, really doesn't come off as that dumb. He's a cinephile, too, I'm pretty sure. I guess this is all for the performance, but I don't know if I really buy it.
Fidel Sharkstro, right? Huh? And they're like, what? No. And I'm like, all right. I like to watch a movie with a really smart person and then rewatch the same movie with a dumb person, and then I take the smart person's interpretations, so at least one person thinks I'm smart. I watch the same film. I'm like, what do you think, this movie's about sharks? He's like, it's not? And I'm like, no, you idiot, it's an alimony. Why don't you learn how to watch a film? This is cinema.
Okay, this had me actually laughing out loud. Way to bring it back around, List.
Of some sort, but I'm stupid. I thought Picasso was Italian. Did you guys think that? The painter? Yeah. Right? It sounds Italian, doesn't it? I don't know who said yeah, but right? Picasso. Fucking A. Picasso. I hear O, I think Italian. SpaghettiOs. Picasso. I thought he was like, hey, I'm painting cubes. What do you want from me, you know? I got both eyes on the same side of the head, so blow me, you know what I mean? Like, I thought he was like, fuck, hey, Picasso.
All right, so it seems like the whole I'm dumb thing is the theme for the first act of this special. And I won't lie, I'm starting to like it. One of my favorite brands of comedy is that which is so dumb, you have to be smart to write it. An example I love to give is Tracy Morgan's character in 30 Rock, Tracy Jordan. Particularly the line where he's off his meds and he says, we're in a show within a show. My real name is Tracy Morgan. Anyway, back to Joe List.
Taco, all the foods, really. Burrito. I knew nothing about Picasso. I was kind of embarrassed because I feel like I know about the arts a little bit. I looked him up. I read his Wikipedia page. And did you know this? He died in 1973. Did you guys know that? I thought he died in 1380. I almost shit. 1973. Picasso had a car. Is that unbelievable to you guys? Pablo Picasso was driving around Spain in like a Honda Civic, listening to Led Zeppelin on the radio. Ozzy Osbourne and Pablo Picasso were working at the same time.
That's funny, and had the exact intended effect he was going for. The line about Ozzy and Picasso both working at the same time is great. And if I'm staying honest with you, this review is starting to seem like it's going to be more of a highlight reel for Small Ball. You should really check this special out when you're done watching my coverage of it. I'm cutting around quite a bit, and I'm always sure to leave some gold in between what I show to you guys. But this one, about Joe's wife giving birth, I had to share with you.
He's not here. He's in an undisclosed location. But my wife gave birth. She's my hero. It was unbelievable. I really, fell deeper in love. She was in labor for 22 hours. I know. It sounds horrible. It's not that bad. I have to tell you guys. It's I don't mean that rude. Labor is kind of bullshit. I know that's kind of okay, nobody's laughing. All right, let me slow it down here. It's not bullshit. It's just not as, you look furious. I'm sorry, I've upset both of you guys. It's just not as, it's hard. It's hard. It's very hard. I want to say that and express that. I wouldn't want to give birth. It's not as hard as I thought. I thought labor, my whole life, when someone said they were in labor for 30, I thought every minute was like shitting blood and crying and ribs breaking. My wife was asleep for 14 of the 22 hours. They shoot you up with heroin and fentanyl. The whole time she was and I had to sleep in a chair, upright. No drugs. She had a bed, it was adjustable, multiple pillows. I was in labor. She was in REM sleep. I was like, this is crazy. My back still hurts. And they hate men. I don't want to sound like a victim. They hate men in there. They would walk in. I'm like, I think she wanted water. And they're like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Piece of shit. It's her night. What do you want some water? And I was like, that's what I said. I don't. It was the last hour seemed pretty uncomfortable, and for me, both of us. We had a hard time the last hour. She ended up having a C-section, the easy way out, I call it. But I'm sorry, I'm slowly upsetting everybody. I feel bad. Have you guys had a C-section? Been to one? It is wild. It is quite a show. Yeah, did you have one? Nice. Sir, were you there? Yeah, you're the real hero. That's what I say. Us boys. Seeing them through the night, you know? If you've never been to a C, get yourself a ticket to a C-section. It is something else. It's like a magic trick. Because you don't have a baby, and then they hold up a curtain, and they're like, "Wah!" And then you're like, "Whoa! Oh, shit! Woo!"
If you're having as good a time as I am, please be sure to subscribe. I'm new to creating this kind of content, but I've got things scheduled to go out way ahead of time, so you can count on my consistency dropping this weekly heat. Fire? Flame emojis. You can count on me consistently dropping flame emojis of videos. I think I'm catching the listeria, so let's keep cracking on. Joe goes on to talk about how the doctor was a man babe, then some stuff about, well, gross stuff I'll leave out. Not gonna cost him any points, but ewy. Let's see here. He stays on the baby stuff, and it's better than most baby stuff I've heard recently. Again, you write what you know, and stand-up is better when the jokes are based on real life. Or so saith the great, red, and honorable Tony Hinchcliffe.
Why would I not be? I feel like the universe was really testing me leading up to having a baby last year. I kept having run-ins with other people's kids, which is always weird. You don't know how to handle it. I was in a hotel last year, and I went to a beautiful hotel, like a high-rise hotel with like a big, beautiful elevator. And I got in the elevator, and it was me and like a dad and his son in the elevator. He was like, you know, like this, whatever age, this height. You never know kids' heights, because we never say kids' heights, really. You're not, like adults, you're like, he's 5'10", 6'2". You're never like, this is my nephew, he's 2'6", you know? This is my son, he's 1'4", and he's on the wall for some reason. Anyways, I got on the elevator with the father and son, and we were just riding. And then the elevator was going down. We stopped at a floor, and the doors opened, and none of us got off the elevator, and then nobody got on the elevator either. And then the doors closed, and we kept going. And so I said, hey, it must have been a ghost. Little classic elevator humor, right? And that's not my joke, by the way. I don't want to take credit. That's an old elevator gag. You guys are welcome to use that anytime. Doors open and close, no one gets off or on. You say, must have been a ghost. It's not getting a huge laugh here, a little laugh. It did not get any laugh whatsoever on the elevator. It bombed. In fact, the kid started crying immediately. I swear to God, I was like, oh, it must have been a ghost. The kid was like, what? Ah! And he started crying like tears, and I felt bad for the kid, but then the dad went, hey, come on, man. And I got annoyed with him. I was like, hey, dude, your son is a little bitch. That's not on me. That's not my fault. You're raising a pussy, not me. It's a joke. It's a goddamn dad joke. I'm like, what if I pull my thumbs out? Is he gonna faint? Like, ooh, Papa.
List is on fire for this one. We're about halfway through right now, and if he keeps this up, he's gonna set a new record on the ever-hallowed Eeks scale.
Dang, thumbs came off. Oh. I tried to make him feel better. I was like, ghosts don't need the doors to open, little buddy. They come through the walls. They're boundless spirits that haunt you at night. Come on.
I had to add that tag because it really did add value to the joke. Let's jump ahead a little bit, because if I shared everything I like about this special, I'd be getting copyright stricken for sure. But Just to keep you posted, the next kid's story he has was in an airport, and a toddler was throwing a tantrum, and the mom told the kid that if she didn't get up off the floor, Joe was going to step on her leg and break it. I won't spoil the punchline, but it's probably the best joke I've heard in this already sterling special so far. God, it's wild to say, but Joe List might be one of my new favorite still performing stand-up comedians. His podcasts, they're all right, but this man knows how to work a fucking stage. Hats off, Joe List. I haven't laughed this hard at stand-up in a long time.
What you said, that like ruins their life. Have you guys ever had that? It doesn't matter. This is what happened. I'll tell you my story. It's awful. And I know, just ahead of time, I know I'm the asshole here. This is what happened. I went for I'm a big runner. I used to run. Well, I used to be like a competitive runner in high school and in my 20s, and now I still run. But when the baby was born, I took like a couple months off because we were busy and tired. So then I went for a run, and I hadn't run in a while. So I felt not my best, you know? And I went for a run at a track, and it was me, and there was a woman there, and she was walking, and she happened to be a large lady, big gal, I would say. XL, maybe. And she was out strolling, and I was running, and I ran, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles. And when I finished, she happened to be right next to me. And we made eye contact, and I went, "Whew, don't you hate being out of shape?" I know. I felt down, but I meant like, don't you hate that feeling when you haven't worked out in a long time? Like, ah. And she went, "Yeah." And I realized from her perspective, she's just out walking, trying to get it together, and a skinny asshole jogged laps around her for like an hour. Not an hour, a half hour, whatever. I don't want you to think I'm slow. Like 20 minutes, whatever the fuck. And then I stopped and was like, "Don't you hate being out of shape?" And I didn't know how to make it better. I didn't want to be like, "No, I don't mean because you're," and I'm, like, you know, it just makes it worse. So all I could do was just run. I just started running again. I was like, and then now it literally looks like I paused my run to be like, "You're bummed out, right? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're upset. Okay, woo!"
I swear to everyone listening to this that I intended to make this a far shorter version of my special reviews. But you know what? I got things to say, things I want to share, and to be honest, a la Little Platoon, my coverage is going to be as comprehensive as I need it to be to make my point. I'm glad you're still watching at this point, and if you have any suggestions of things you'd like to see me cover, let me know in the comments. Both because it's helpful to my algo, end quote, but also because it's helpful for me as a new creator. Who knows? You might even get a shout out if I like your idea enough. Anyway, Joe goes on to talk about how he wishes that he didn't care what people thought of him. Let's take a look.
A yes would really go a long way for his self-esteem. Specials are fun, you know? These people that do the live special, what a bunch of nitwits, you know? Just cut. I could be like this. No one's ever going to see that. Have the special open with that. That's a funny opening. People will be like, "I gotta watch this shit." Sorry you had to experience that.
Joe's unique for a few reasons, and I want to point out 2 of them. First off, he's one of the first comics to start calling out the Rogan Sphere comics, which I covered in my video, Shane Gillis, King of Patreon. Now, everyone on the regs, Louis J. Gomez, Dan Soder, Bobby Kelly, and Joe List, is doing it now, and Joe's keeping it friendly, but he's braver than he looks. No offense, Joseph. I bring this up because Joe Rogan was like one of the only and certainly the biggest comic to do a live special in the last year. List low-key just called out what a terrible idea he thinks that was, and if you need further proof, search for Elephant Graveyard, Burn the Boats. Dude's an icon. Anyway, the second reason I think Joe is so unique is because he'll make these shock and awe jokes, but then apologize to get the crowd back on his side. I haven't seen that a lot in comics, and I really do like that he's not trying to cool guy everyone like Chad Daniels might do. And frankly, I think it's due exclusively to his personality that he can even pull it off. Anyway, this leads to Joe doing like 5 minutes about his balls, which is gonna cost him a point on the eek scale. I get it. It's supposed to be relatable, but this feels like filler going into the third act of a show here. The whole bit is how other dudes like to have their balls played with, but Joe doesn't like his balls played with. Ugh, meh.
Terrible. I know, I'm telling you. My ball, you might as well play with my elbow. I have no ticklish at best. The best reaction you're gonna get is like, ah, you know? I just, I don't know, people love it though. You guys love it. You always hear like, hey, don't forget the balls. Play with his balls. Those are Picasso quotes, of course, but sometimes people do this, they go, hey, did she play with your balls? And I'm like, what is that? Don't do that to balls. You could twist them. Don't get your balls. Yeah, if you twist your balls, you can die. I don't know if you know that. Right, sir? You know? It's called testicular torsion. Any nurses here? Doctors? Yeah, you know it, right? Did you have it happen or you just know?
I just know.
You know. Do you work in the medical field?
I'm a medical student.
You're a medical student. Yeah, so you know. If the,
Bad deal.
Bad deal, yeah. Not a good deal at all. And you can die if it doesn't get... Thank you.
Again, I call filler. To be fair, it's the only filler on this otherwise killer special so far, but it's unquestionably filler. Let's hope he finishes stronger than this.
My wife and I have sex, and that's fun. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. We have sex all the time. I'm very grateful. I enjoy having sex with her, and I'm grateful we have the sex. But this is my one complaint. This is how we have sex. I'm always like, hey, you want to have sex? And she's like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? She's never like, fucking right I do, bitch. You know what I mean? She's never like, fill me up, you dork. I need it. You know what I mean? Like...
Eeks. Hard eeks. This is all filler here. Strange to me because he did so well going into this, but who knows? Maybe he's building to a banger. But as time passes, I find that it's not that at all. In fact, Joe's just, well, doing butt jokes now. He says that he wants to work out so that his wife gets all horned up for him, so he joined a class called Best Butt Ever, and it wasn't for dudes, it was the hottest chicks he's ever seen in his life.
I was like, me too. And I have a theory. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't want to sound misogynistic, but I feel like women, you work on your butts because you know that men are really into women's butts. And I feel like guys don't work on our butts that much because women don't seem to really care much about our butts, seems like. And every show there's like a woman who's like, not true. And women might like men's butt, but it's not the same energy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same level. Don't you think? Like, every time I hear a woman talk about a man's butt, she's like, he's got a cute butt. And then I hear a man talk about a woman's butt, and he's like, I want to eat her asshole from behind after a workout. I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like...
Big hard eeks here, boyos. I'm not saying that I don't get what this joke is about. I'm saying that when compared to the standard that the rest of the material from this special are held to, they fall apart immediately. We're only a few minutes from the end, and I'm debating whether or not to share the closer with you all. Y'all. But, you know what? This part, his second to last joke, made me laugh. And I love y'all. You all, and want to share this light with ya. Whilst you listen to it, please consider liking the video because it helps others see my work, but it's also a huge boost to the old ego.
I go to the gym, and the reason I go, I always want to work out, but then I always hit the steam room instead. Like, I'm gonna go get a workout in, and then I see the steam room, I'm like, I'll just steam. You know what I mean? Like, you guys... Steam room people, it's very relaxing. I'm glowing, aren't I? Anyways, I go to the steam room a lot. I love it. My wife the other day, she pulled up an article on her phone. She goes, it says here, steam rooms in New York are a place where men go to have sex with each other. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And she held it up like it was evidence. She was like, I was like, no, yeah, I saw it. She goes, don't you steam every day? And I was like, am I being accused of having sex with men every day? She goes, no, I'm asking, do you see men having sex in the steam room? Which is a hilarious question. Like, I love the idea that I've just been sitting on this as a topic of conversation. Like, do you think I'm just waiting to bring this up? Like, we ran out of things to talk about 8 years ago. You think I'm just not bringing up men having sex in front of me daily? If I saw men having sex in front of me, I would call you and be like, I just saw the darndest thing. You're not going to believe this. It was really something else.
Okay, now the rest I'm going to leave up to mystery, so you'll have to go watch the damn thing if you want to see it. And now, the long-awaited and highly coveted rating I perform on all these stand-up specials. Now, Adam Ray got like a 2 out of 10. I think Chad Daniels got a 4 out of 10. And Joe List's last special got a 7 out of 10. So with those for reference, what did Small Ball get? Drum roll, please. I, Critical Leaks, hereby give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I liked it more than I liked Enough for Everybody, but I have a few issues that cost him points. I don't think it was all that well structured. Acts 1 and 2 were genuinely hilarious, truly very funny, and I stand by the things I said earlier in this review. The kid stuff was better than average. I loved the I'm dumb shit that he got into. And honestly, had he done the nastier stuff sort of sprinkled throughout, it would have his score would be at least an 8 out of 10. But Joe really front-loaded this one and didn't end up calling back to any of the early stuff, but for that one reference to Picasso, which was passable at best. I'd have loved if he'd have ended on a remark on his intelligence, but he seemingly forgot that his whole act was built around being a dumb dad. Act 3 really got away from him and felt like, as I said earlier, filler that was tacked on because he had a really strong 40 minutes and needed to make it closer to an hour to be considered a legit special. Now, with all that said, I really enjoyed most of this. I had a great time reviewing it for you all. Y'all. And, well, I hope you had a good time too. Let me know if you agree with my score down in the comments, or if you think I'm a hack, or really whatever you feel like saying. It all helps the channel. But I prefer niceties for the record. Anyway, I have been Critical Leaks. Thanks for watching, and in the meantime, be nice.